Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well? I just don't need that. Hey, I can't hear you back there, so I'll do my best. Hey, welcome, everyone. Welcome to the retirement ceremony for James Deal. I'm glad everyone was able to make it out here. Um, I just want to say I wasn't quite sure this day was going to happen anytime soon. And how do we know? He started growing his hair out. And so once that started happening, this might be a real thing. You know, hair. Jim, can you just? No? Okay, sorry. All right. Well, let me tell you a little story about how I get to stand up here right now. So I went into his office to talk about some things, and he was telling me, hey, Sharon confirmed she's going to be my guest speaker. I said, oh, cool, man. Can't wait to see Sharon show up. And then he's like, oh, by the way, you're my MC. I was like, okay. You didn't even take me out or propose or, wine and dine me or anything like that. I just came to find out I'm going to stand up here and uh, represent you. But that's all right. No worries. Just another thing, real quick. So, if you don't know, Jim hates long, drawn out meetings or ceremonies or anything like that. So, our goal here is to make this the longest ceremony in NSW history. Is that all right, you, Jim? No? Okay, all right. A lot of no's here. All right, before we get started, one last thing. If you could please silence your phones, no disturbance up here. If you happen to wander in and assuming there's going to be some food, look behind you. Sorry, there's no food. So, that being said, if you walked in and say, hey, I saw these tents up, I see this guy standing up talking, I'm going to give you a reprieve right now. I'm going to count to 10. You get to stand up, walk out. I'll close my eyes. Wait, no judgment here, so we'll start. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no one. All right, so Jim, they're all actually here for you, buddy. You ready? All right, let's roll. If please everyone stand. Military, please cover. I will do the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to enjoy another day with you. Thank you for this time that we get to celebrate Jim on his retirement. Thank you for allowing all of those to get here safely. I pray for those who may not be here yet and pray for safe travels. I thank you for the service and dedication that Jim has given the United States. And I pray that his life after work is as fruitful as it was during his time here at NSW. And these things are all things we do pray. Amen. Guess you may be seated. Military uncover. All right, again, just so to introduce everyone, Jim's Deal retirement, 46 years of government service, 33 of which here at the Naval Special Warfare. I'd like to first thank the guests and family who's showing up. Destiny, your wife, thank you. Kaz, distinguished guests and visitors. Before we get started, I just want to give you a little synopsis of Jim during his career. Born to Marvin and Catherine Deal in Charleston, South Carolina, Jim has one brother named Nick. Jim began his federal service when he enlisted in the United States Navy on August 2nd, 1977, as an electronic technician. After attending boot camp, basic electricity and electronics training, and TSEC KW-26 training, he was assigned to Naval Communications Unit, London. Upon departing London, he attended the FFG-7 Communications Pipeline Training. Upon departing London, he attended the FFG Commission Pipeline, After he attended the pipeline, then he was sent to commission the USS REF Fitch, FF-34. After his tour on the USS Fitch, he was assigned to the USS Shenandoah AD-47. I just happened to be on AD-37, which is one of their sister ships on the West Coast. Upon his completion of his tour on the Shenandoah, he was assigned to Naval Telecom State Center, Hampton Roads, where he completed his tour in '87. He chose to leave the military service to start his career in U.S. Civil Service. In July of '87, he started working for Naval Communications Area Master Station LANT as a cryptographic technician. So I had to highlight this part because I thought it was pretty funny. So while at that command, leadership noticed his abilities with computer systems, and he became the lead computer technician. And that's how it began, Jim? Yeah. All right. He's not helping me out here. On December 16, 1990, Mr. Deal moved on to work into Naval Special Warfare Group 2, where he remained there until November 25th, 2016. On the 28th of November, Mr. Deal started working for Naval Special Warfare Command in his current role. Jim, that's a long time.
It is.
It is? All
I'll give you that.
right.
Even more than?
I'm not going to do the math on that right now. If I may take a second to introduce our Chief of Staff, Captain Kurtz, for a few words.
All right, thank you, Vernon. Appreciate that, and thanks for stepping in for the chaplain and covering down on the invocation. I assume the chaplain's invitation got hung up in the email system somewhere. Hey, 46 years, obviously a long time, and with the skills that Jim displays on a daily basis in support of the warfighter, it's obvious he could have made more money doing something somewhere else, taking those skills to South Beach or anybody who would pay a lot more than government service. But obviously, he does it because he loves this community, he loves the people, and he loves making sure that they get the support that they need to be able to do hard work on our behalf, and that's noble. So for 46 years, whether you wear a Navy uniform, an Army uniform, or retina-destroying tie-dye, it demonstrates a love for the people, it demonstrates a love for the mission, and it is certainly indicative of a noble spirit. So thank you very much for all your hard work. I appreciate it.
Kaz, thank you. So for those who don't know, Chief of Staff, he sends out a weekly notice to the command called Taco Tuesday Thoughts. And I think it's perfect timing because if you think about the week ahead, right, on Monday, Manic Monday, you show up and you realize, man, there's a lot to do, right? So it's about 100 miles an hour. Might slow down a little bit on Tuesday, so that thought that comes out is perfect for us. Something to think about, something for leadership, just everyone in general. So as we think about the week that goes on, if I may have a suggestion for you, sir. As we ramp down the week, it's Friday, right? Taco Tuesday, catchy, perfect. For Friday, can we think about maybe, French Fry Friday, Frankfurter Friday, anything? What do you think, sir?
It's hard enough to write one a week.
Fair enough, sir. Hey, before we go on to our guest speakers, just another little tidbit that might be used as ammunition for the speakers that come up. So if you didn't know, when Jim, so let me fill in the crowd. So every Thursday we have what is called a net ops, right? And that's when we brief the force from an N6 perspective of the happenings and things, right? So typically it's the captain or the deputy that's sitting in along with the folks that are presenting. And so whenever the captain or the deputy are unable to attend, then obviously Jim is running the show. And as I mentioned before, Jim is not fond of meetings. So our goal is to finish that meeting as fast as possible, usually under 10 minutes. And so with that information, I'll leave you to our guest speakers. So our first one, retired Navy Captain Gene Bailey.
Good morning, everybody. First, I'll apologize. I got hung up in traffic a little bit, so the late start is all my fault. But I'm already on retired time, so we'll take it from there. It's my honor to be here this morning because Jim got to spend a couple years with me trying to figure out where we were going to be, what we needed to be for the future. All trying to do COVID and create some new capabilities. While we were here at NSW. And, he kept telling me this day was going to come, and I kept telling him, no, it's not. And, luckily you waited a couple weeks after I left. So, Mike, you lost it, man. I don't know what to tell you. But but Jim is a true professional, if you think about it, from in every sense of the word. Regardless of how he feels about meetings, and he definitely does not like meetings. There was never a time that I have ever known Jim not to rise to the challenge. Every time I threw a curveball at him, every time that I gave him an impossible task and said, hey, can we or you can't, and I think Jim prides himself on the you can't piece. When you tell him he can't do something, he's dead and determined to get it done from that point out. And I'll try not to steal any of Sharon's thunder because Sharon's got the whole history. So that's going to be an interesting one, and I'll leave it at that. But Jim has always risen to that challenge, and he's always provided a top level of service that's unmatched and unparalleled. He holds his teams to the highest standards. He cares about every single one of them. He has endured, while he's been with NSW, both professional and personal hardships, and he's worked through every single one of them to become the success and longevity and consistency that we strive for here every single day to make it a seamless, everyday, mission evolving network. And if you don't know what a challenge that is, I would encourage you to come down to the Six Shop and just sit through a couple days with them. By the time you'll be ready to go back to wherever you came from, and you'll be like, I'm glad I'm not them for the day. He loves every single minute of it, and that's the crazy part, right? You have to love it to do it like we do it every single day. And so from the aspect of all of the things that we went through during COVID, Jim, all of the things that I asked you to do during my tenure here, and it was some wild stuff. The evolutions of capabilities, I want to tell you thank you, okay? And I want to tell you thank you from a force for 40 years plus of giving that kind of effort every single day, because that takes stamina. It's a marathon. You proved that you could run the marathon, and it's time to leave it to somebody else and go enjoy the rest of the time. So with that being said, I'll keep it short because I know he doesn't like it long, and I can talk forever. For those of you who know me, you know I can talk forever. But congratulations, Jim. I wish you all the best. Enjoy every single minute of it because it goes all too quick. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So next, I'll bring up Captain Lariah. Sir, just don't hold it against Jim about what I just told you about NetOps.
Hey guys, no, I wasn't aware of that. I think I have to reschedule my meetings because I didn't know I didn't know it went that quickly. No, but hey, thank you for running that in my absence and while we were gapped the deputy. What I'm going to say is not anything different than what the folks up here are saying about Jim here. First off, thanks again for attending here. I'm surprised there's so many people that attended. You actually have friends, Jim? Yeah, I got a few. All right, cool. Nah, just kidding. All jokes aside, Destiny, his wife, thank you for attending as well. And for the N6 team, thanks for coming out here. I just want to share a quick story about Jim, because actually I've worked with Jim here, but I actually known him since when he rolled out of the door at Group 2 is when I came in as the N6 at Group 2. So the first time I met him is, I don't know if you remember this either. You just came down to the East Coast to Group 2. We were having Node 19 is the node that's over there at Little Creek, and we were having some issues on it. It was an old node, but when Jim came through, I think he came through. I forgot why you went out there to visit us, maybe just to make sure we're knocking all the stuff out that we need to for that node. But I remember him telling me like he built the network out there, which to me was like, wow. You honestly built all the stuff that was that enables the operators and the entire team at Naval Special Warfare Group 2 to do what they got to do. So that was very impressive. Then I proceeded to go through the closets and started looking at the racks and how crazy all the stuff was. And I'm like, okay, I can see, yeah, you did build it, but we got to do some extra work to make sure it's tidy. But, but not a testament to you, honestly, for building all the stuff that was out there before there wasn't anything out there. And that's a lot of hard work for the folks that haven't seen that side of the communications. I just want to dwell on one word that I think a lot of us spoke up here to describe Jim was dedication. 46 years in federal service. That's way before either myself and I think a good majority of our military team were even born then. So that's a long time. He was very dedicated. I think it was 33 years in NSW, something like that, just supporting the mission for Naval Special Warfare, which is also a long time. Very dedicated individual, and I bring that up because he was asked actually to come out here to Naval Special Warfare Command headquarters after his tour at Group 2. So he came out here and did his thing out here for the entire enterprise. Very dedicated because while we were within the N6 shop, where Gap, the deputy N6, because Sharon retired, he stepped up and stood in as the acting deputy N6 for Naval Special Warfare Command. And that dealt not only for networks, it's the entire gamut of communications for us in the entire NSW enterprise. So that's tactical communications, all the cybersecurity stuff, all the logistical stuff, even the garrison communications. He was in charge of and helping me out while I'm in a bunch of meetings, because we do have a lot of meetings. But just making sure that everything ran smoothly without a hitch for our department, and more importantly, enabling that capability for the entire force for Naval Special Warfare, not all worldwide, right? It's not also East Coast, West Coast. It's for support for our teammates that are out there around the world. Jim, I wish you best of luck. He's gonna have a great time. I don't know if you guys know, I think you're going to Las Vegas.
Yes.
Doing awesome things out there. So if you see Jim running around doing crazy things, don't mind him. Out in Nevada, I think you're gonna have fun out there. But please don't hesitate to hit us up if you need anything, and definitely want to keep in touch with you too. So thank you for everything you did for the team here. We're sad to see you go, but we're actually excited. I'm excited to see what you got next in your next venture. So thanks for everything again. That's all I got, team. Thanks.
All right, for our main speaker, and as Gene Bailey mentioned, the person that has all the tea, Sharon Hauer.
Good morning, NSWC staff. Good morning, Destiny, friends, family, co-workers. Can you hear me okay? Okay, awesome. So I'm glad to go last because a lot of things that I was going to mention have already been mentioned, and I know Jim says keep it quick, but I'm not going to keep it that quick. Jim and I first met actually over the phone. It was mid 1996. I was at CSBR 1, and when I got there, they had a handful of computers with removable SideQuest drives. And I know probably a lot of people don't even know what that is, but it was definitely a challenge when I got there. So I came to headquarters for assistance, NSWC headquarters at the time, and I kept getting, well, what do you need? What do you want? Do you know Jim Deal? No. Where does he sit? Oh, he's on the East Coast. Probably asked about 5 people. I said, well, I kind of need somebody here at the headquarters, and I didn't even really understand the whole groups yet. I was brand new to NSW. So finally, after the 5th or 6th person said, oh, you need to talk to Jim Deal. I said, okay, let me go call Jim. Mr. Deal, who is this? Who is this? I said, this is Sharon. I work at CSBR 1. Yeah? What do you want? I'm like, I'm trying to do a network here. Yeah? What? And I'm like, okay, I'll call you back. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? Who is this guy, right? So he calls me back. Probably an hour or two later. He probably called headquarters and said, hey, who's this girl calling me? Called me back and said, hey, look, this is NSW. It's going to be something that you haven't ever seen before. So prepare. So started down the route of building a network, getting it done, just like he did at Group 2. CSBR 1 was the same way, no network. In fact, Jim was running Windows for Workgroups at the time, if people even know what that is. But so we're working together. He started appreciating that I'm not. He didn't even know I was blonde, by the way. But he appreciated that. Okay, this woman knows a little bit about what she's talking about, so I'll have a conversation with her. I'll talk to her. I'll have. So we went on like that, and I got some good advice about NSW. In fact, he was my NSW tech mentor for sure. So I think I'm going to take a trip out there. At the time it was my N6 said, yeah, you need to go out and talk to Jim. It sounds like he has a lot going on because the headquarters wasn't really helping. So took a trip to Group 2, and I'm looking for him. And here I'm expecting, for some reason, tall, thin, white shirt, pocket protector, the man-hater glasses, or the women-hater glasses, and short hair. Well, take a look at Jim right now. This is about what Jim looked like, except his hair was probably about 8 inches longer. It was pretty long. And
It wasn't as gray.
it wasn't gray. It was black. He was basically a nerd dressed as a hippie. Okay. And so I start talking to him, and I'm like, he's showing me around, getting me familiar with things. And honestly, once I really got to know him, which is probably that trip really, I saw what a great guy he was, what a nice guy, what a helpful guy he was, what a smart guy he was. He was absolutely a nerd. And so through his guidance, I was able to do a lot of work at CSBR 1 in spite of the headquarters. And I say this with a grain of salt because I understand that I've been there at the headquarters. So through all of that and working through the years, SOCOM had asked us to upgrade to some of the units out there. So I went with Jim. I asked Jim, hey, let's do this together. And in the middle of a big mission, while we're at Unit 2 in Germany, we're working all night trying to get SDNs up and keeping the network up when we were doing a complete upgrade. Jim showed me what he was really about. I mean, if it was a firewall, and I know I'm probably talking a little bit techie, but I know that the most of this audience is very techie, so I'm going to continue on. Through everything. I mean, from the desktops to the servers to the firewalls to the routers to the switches, we upgraded every single thing, and that was like about 38 hours. And we had 3 people with us, and one of them being Vern, and Stephanie out here was with us as well. And it was a lot of work, but we were able to get a lot done, and it was basically on his persistence and his knowledge, and just the camaraderie of let's get this done. This is something that has to get done. There's people operationally working, and so after that, which was around 2008 or 2009, we became very close, and we chatted on a regular basis. We put things together, and we worked with the headquarters. We started working. We had a commander that came in, Commander Mueller came in, and he was definitely about the enterprise because he had been a prior Group 2 N6. So we became an enterprise and started really working together instead of apart. And it was thanks to Jim and a lot of his corporate knowledge that we were able to do that among all the groups, among all the units, even at the SOCOM level. SOCOM has looked at Jim as a subject matter expert in so many technical aspects. I mean, I can't even tell you, and I won't keep going because I know that we're trying to keep it a little bit short. So fast forward to 2016 November, and actually it was probably in September that it started.
Actually, July, June.
July, June. I started thinking about getting a lead in the N6-3 for all operations, and the first person I thought of was Jim Deal. And the current N6 wasn't really a big fan of that per se, as far as Mr. Deal being the obvious choice. But through a lot of discussions and then actually bringing Jim out and interviewing, and I think DCOS was on that interview panel as well, we actually convinced Mr. Deal, after like 4 months I guess it was, of me telling him he needs to take this job. So being fairly decent in math myself, and Jim as well, I said, hey, why don't you do this? You're a couple years away from retirement. just do the math. Not only will you get a higher grade, but you're going to get COLA. And I said, you stick around here for 3 years, see what kind of difference that makes. About 10 minutes later, because Jim is, as I said, very good in math, said, I'll take the job. I'm coming. So he promised me that he would stay for 3 years, because at the time he was thinking of retiring. So once he got up here and saw that he was making such a big difference and saw how he was our right-hand man, my right-hand man, I mean, he said, you know what, Sharon, I will stay until you leave. And the words he said was, we can skip out the front door together. I just cracked up. Just let's take a look at this. Let's imagine Jim Deal and me holding hands, skipping out the front door. That's what he said. I said, okay, I gotcha. So I originally was thinking of retiring in 2020, but then I said, wait a minute, I got to round up. I got to go to 40. I can't stop at 38. And you know, COVID was happening and so forth and so on. So Jim said, okay, that sounds good. And then I was like, you know, Jim, you're doing so good here. I'd hate to leave, have us both leave and skip out the door. I mean, you could do another year or so, right? Let's make it even. And Jim said, you know, I've been thinking about it too. I don't want to leave the group with both of us gone. He was very, very, very gracious, and I have such gratitude for him for doing that. But I will say, 46 seems like you might have quit before. You should have 50. We got to round up to 50. I mean, come on. I mean, I think the staff here would really appreciate that. You still have time. You can pull those records anytime. So, anyway, I mean, I will say that I don't think anybody appreciates the due diligence that this man has. And the funny thing is, Captain retired, Eugene kind of mentioned this. I figured out a long, long time ago, and it's probably with my kids and with other people. Sometimes when you want a problem solved, it's the way you address it or the way you ask for help. And so for Jim, he's like a dog with a bone. Hey, look at this. I don't know what this problem is. I don't know why we're having this issue here. What do you think? What do you think? You know, hours later, this is what's happening. You know, we have a server issue. Whatever it is, it's the way you approach it and the way you say, this can't be solved. Well, yes, this can be solved if it's in the hands of Jim Deal. So I'm here to say I have so much gratitude. I mean, I want to end this by saying thank you so much for coming out here, Jim. You have made my life so much easier. You made N6, you made NSWC headquarters, the whole enterprise. You have made a difference in our lives. Thank you. I say this wholeheartedly, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to be part of this retirement, and I'm glad he's joining me. By the way, this is deja vu. This is one year to the day that I retired last year. And last year, after I retired, he asked me, will you be my guest speaker? And I said, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm here to say, let's all say goodbye to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. James Deal.
Thank you, Sharon. Did I not say that Sharon will have all the tea of Mr. James R. Deal? Thank you. Jim, I did not ask you this earlier. 46 years of service. Did you ever not receive a check that said United States government on it?
Yeah.
McDonald's? Anything?
No.
No? Which one?
Western Sizzler.
Western Sizzler. I don't know what that is. All right, Jim. Now's the time that we get to honor you with some things. So now we have the presentation of awards. Jim, if you can please step forward. Kaz, step forward. Guests, please rise. Military cover. So for our first award, it's going to be a collage inscription. Jim's time here at WorldCom from 12 February 2012 to 31 December 23. For the second award or certificate, it will be to represent 46 years of federal service. with a letter from Rear Admiral Davids. And for the last award, I'll invite Commander Markey.
The Commander, Naval Special Warfare Command, takes pleasure in presenting the Department of the Navy Superior Civilian Service Award to Mr. James Deal for service as set forth in the following citation. For superior service while serving as Executive Director of Network Operations, Commander, Naval Special Warfare Command, from November 2016 to December 2023. Mr. Deal successfully instituted transformational changes which revolutionized how the command, control, communications, computers, and intelligence capability is delivered across the NSW enterprise. Under his leadership, NSW was able to meet the demanding requirements for mobile information technology assets during the COVID-19 pandemic. He led the force-wide strategy in response to the COVID-19 pandemic that enabled network access for the vast number of NSW personnel who were forced to perform their duties via teleworking systems. As Acting Deputy Assistant Chief of Staff, he ensured that the NSWC C4I mission continued to be executed while a suitable replacement could be recruited. He successfully managed operating system updates for 2 network enclaves and transitioned over 10,000 NSW users to a Microsoft Office 365 cloud environment. Additionally, his implementation of a hyper-converged infrastructure transformed the state of NSW IT, reducing its massive server footprint in both size and cost. Mr. Deal's total dedication to mission accomplishment and loyal devotion to duty reflected great credit upon himself and the Department of the Navy. Signed, K.B. Davids, Rear Admiral, United States Navy, Commander, Naval Special Warfare Command. And yes, we used a lot of big words.
For the last award, Captain Lariah. So this last one is from the N6 department. It is a shadow box. Just to kind of go over, I know it's hard for you guys to see out there, but to kind of go over what's on here, we have all the groups and obviously Naval Special Warfare, their coins that are on here. We have the electrician's insignia or rating badge over there on the right. On the left side, we have a flask for obvious reasons. It has the American flag in there. Do not break the glass, but you know it's up to you. It's yours, right? In there, we also have the retirement pin for his service here, and then at the very top, and in my opinion, most important is the flag, which is flown over WARCOM, and was flown on December 7th. So this is yours, sir. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything. Congratulations. Yes, you may be seated. Military on cover. So for this last thing, Jim, before you get to grace us with your presence, if you don't mind joining me over here. So for this last thing, before I let Jim take over, I wanted to go over some things. I reached out to the 6th Department and say, hey, Jim's been here for a while. There's a lot of things that Jim does on a normal basis, things that we just get used to. What are you going to miss about Jim, right? So some of these things I had to condense because some are repeats, and they all had the same, basically, frame. So the first thing is Jim's wild shirts. Jim's wild shirts was that one shirt with a taco and a cat inside the taco. Taco Cat Tuesday. You had the psychedelic shirts. You had some shirts that, I'm sure you had some shirts at home that you knew you could not bring into the office.
Definitely.
Absolutely. The second, something about being a supervisor. Second thing is his colorful tennis shoes that went along with the different shirts. Those were running shoes. And where did you run to? Back and forth to the next, absolutely. This thing I think we can all identify with, if you don't already know. Moonshine and the discussions thereof. If you do not know, Jim makes his own moonshine. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Bourbon, whiskey,
Yeah.
neutral grain spirits.
That's off
I can say that you can probably grab those things if we were to drink them and strap us on to a plane. We would probably take off for sure, easily. This is a good one. Someone believes that you're running moonshine out of your basement. You don't have a basement. Or maybe even a land room. Is that possible? What I will say when we're all done here, check under the false floor. Might be there. In the office that Jim occupies, there's definitely some spirited discussions that happen there. We call that the Thunderdome, right? So they're going to miss the Thunderdome discussions that we had there. For some reason, I didn't see this, and then you can confirm or die on this one, but did you have cat-eye contacts one Halloween?
Yes.
Holy smokes. Okay.
Spence, I got him in. Where you at, brother?
See, I wasn't going to say the names, but, you know, you must have figured that one out real quick. All right, we'll get to some good ones here finally, right? Smoked cheese. Anyone had the smoked cheese before? Outstanding. Tri-tip. That deserves a clap for sure. Thank you. Okay, this is not a good one anymore. Sorry. All right. If you didn't know, his first arrival in California, I don't think there was a good thing you had to say about California, but yet you were here for 7 years. Anything you want to say about that? He pleads the fifth. All right, this is the last one, and then I'll turn over to Mr. Deal. Jim's no-nonsense approach, as Sharon mentioned, to get the job done. Well, as everyone mentioned, to get the job done, no matter how hard that task was. And I would want to personally thank you from the bottom of my heart before I turn it over to you for the 7 years of mentorship, the 7 years of friendship, I think more importantly. Just being able to come into work and know that it's not always going to be a stressful environment. You definitely kept the edge off of what we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis at N6. I always joke with people, I say, anyone calls me, it's probably not to say, how you doing? There's a problem, right? There's something going on that they need our help in. So I thank you for allowing us to be ourselves, and I thank you for being yourself. And so without further ado, Mr. Deal, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Lauren. So I know a lot of you don't believe this is happening, but it is. I am going to go to Las Vegas at the end of the year, try to find a place to stay. But, you know, I appreciate Cause, Gene, Mike, Sharon, all the good comments. So yeah, Sharon, you know, since she brought up a little bit of dirt on me, it's time for me to dig up a little dirt on her. So in that the time that she was calling me, I think Sharon was probably the only person in my life that actually caused me to get a letter of reprimand, because I was working with her on a situation with mail flowing back and forth between the two coasts, and the acting N6 at the time took exception to that and ended up writing me up for being disrespectful when I wasn't, and it all got resolved, all taken care of in the grievance process. But thank you for that, Sharon.
You overcame. You learned to overcome.
So all I can say is this is kind of like, for me, a Gilligan's Island, Beverly Hillbillies type scenario here. Sharon convinced me to come out here for 3 years, 3-hour tour, 3-year tour. Here I am 7 years later. And of course, Beverly Hillbillies, loading up the truck and moving out west. And, I was a kid, thinking about living in $1 million home. Well, I live in $1 million home now in Rancho Bernardo with 700 square feet. Not quite what I thought it would be for $1 million home, but it is. So, but anyway, we're going to go to Las Vegas and find a place out there to live and do great things out there. Destiny is an aspiring director, so I'm a pretty good photographer. Had a few things published in books and whatnot. couple of calendars here and there. A lot of photos hanging around the house. So be plenty for you to do out there. All I can say is, you know, I can't believe that this is happening, but at the end of the day, Vern has got the reins. Vern's going to keep going strong like we were before. And the rest of the team, Kevin, Jason, Bernie, and hopefully soon one day our replacement will come on board. It'll probably be after I leave, but he would go forth and do great things as well in another area. Oh my God, so many things. So you know, it's kind of interesting, coming out here. Didn't expect a lot of things, but during the height of COVID, I'm walking along Pacific Beach and get hit by a car, a drunk driver, while walking on the sidewalk. Cops thought I was in a car, said, "Why weren't you wearing your seatbelt?" And I'm looking at him, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Why weren't you wearing your seatbelt?" And I said, "What? I have to wear a seatbelt to walk on the sidewalk in California?" He said, "You weren't in that car?" I said, "No, he hit me." So, it all worked out, no major injuries or whatnot, but it was interesting riding in an ambulance during COVID into an ER facility where scripts had just been hacked by some ransomware, so ER rooms were very, very difficult to find. Follow-on care was very, very difficult, but it was all good. But it was definitely interesting, seeing how all this works out here in California. But I don't regret coming out here. And when Sharon says that, she talked to me, Sharon was very, very persuasive. So, she just kept pounding them like a dog on a bone. Just,
Did the math.
Well, yeah, I did the math. Yeah, I did the math, and I did the math in January of this year. And the retirement guy looked at me and said, "Jim, why are you working? You're working for nothing." So that was kind of what made my decision, solidified it. And in fact, I had met my agreement with Sharon that I would not retire until after she left. But anyway, thank you everybody for coming out here. It's been great. Destiny, I know the last 12 months have been hell, but it's over. In 2 weeks, we're going to go do what we want to do, and it'll be it. So, thank you everybody for coming, and that's all I have. But hold on, girl.
Aren't I supposed to get you the flowers?
I'm not dead.
All right, everyone, if you guys, please remain standing, and if you're military, please cover. And if you're not standing, please stand. I'll do the benediction. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time. Thank you for allowing us to celebrate Jim. It was a great time to reflect, a great time to see those who we might not have seen for many years. Thank you for allowing us to catch up. I pray that as we go, that we get to our destination safely. I pray that you continue to work in us and lift us up and bless NSW. And these things and all things we do pray. Amen.
Hey, Vern, I got one safe round.
Of course.
Of course I do. So, Gene, I want to thank you for coming out here, but I can't believe that I had to retire to finally deliver you your package that we had since September of last year.
All right, before we go, just like to say thank you all for coming out and spending time with us. If you need me, I do quinceañeras, weddings, bar mitzvahs, all those things. So please do it quickly because I got to return this suit anyway. Thank you for coming out. Please hang out. We do have some cake here. And, if there's someone you haven't seen for a while, just walk up and say, "How the hell you doing?" Thank you.